Welcome to Hear Me Out. I'm Gabe.
I'm B-Core.
And today we're going to be talking about Happy Death Day to You. Happy Death Day to You is basically a movie that is a sequel to the first one where this girl from a university just was waking up in the same day and reliving the same moments. And then the sequel is what we're going to be talking about today, which we just saw last night. Mm-hmm. And spoilers, after this point, we will be talking about anything and everything. Yes, this is a deep dive. So if you haven't seen Happy Death Day to You, I would not watch past this point. But Happy Death Day 1, you can go see that and then follow this up. So again, spoilers. We are going to be talking about Happy Death Day to You right now. So overall, what did you think?
I'm conflicted.
Really?
I don't know. It's weird. It's there's a lot bad about it in my opinion. Like some of the acting, not on the main character's part. I think Jessica Roth, I think her name is, the actress. I think
the main
yeah,
character?
I think she did a pretty good job. She's really charismatic and she can like do ridiculous scenes and make them feel like genuine. And honestly, there's a few emotional parts in the movie that she does really good, but like a lot of the movie to me, like it kind of felt like something like that would be on the Disney Channel, like in terms of production. Like I don't know, like a lot of the acting was kind of like bad, especially on the what was the Asian kid's name? He was like, I don't remember
the blonde one.
Yeah, the blonde one.
Nick. I think
it was
Nick.
Ryan.
Oh, it is Ryan.
It's
Ryan.
Ryan.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was Nick.
It took me a minute to think about his name, but yeah, like he wasn't very good in it. And I think this movie might exist just to fill like
the void.
I don't even know if it's the void. It kind of feels like this exists solely to get rid of like. Do you remember my major gripe with the first one?
Yes.
I felt like the dude realized something and then he was like, I gotta write another one to like make it make sense. Like there was a lot of like inconsistencies with the rules they established in the first one. So this one out of nowhere
Just explain it again. Like what was your thing?
My gripe with it was that a lot of the like stuff with time, it was like inconsistent. Like there would be a day where she would rush out the door in 2 minutes and the same thing beat for beat that happened a day before, where she walked out like 10 minutes later was still happening, and it just felt really weird. So this sequel, oddly enough, like out of left field, and I think honestly for the benefit of it, introduces a science fiction element of...
There's an actual explanation to why. It's basically...
It's ridiculous because it's college students, but it's an explanation.
It's plausible. Like because...
I mean...
I'm thinking in my mind, crazier college students have done crazier things. But in my mind, I was thinking Bayfield, like some Asian out of Bayfield University.
Crazier college students have done crazier things.
But like
create a time loop.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just thinking like, think about all the people that have left or gone to college, been in college, and then just like invented crazy things.
True.
That's usually what happens.
I get what you meant.
Geniuses, and they didn't even know they invented that. It didn't even. We're kind of hopping here, but they didn't even know they invented that.
It was very,
But anyways, so the machine is basically the way that they explain how the things are happening over and over again. And what they basically tell us is it's a time loop that they're stuck in. Mm-hmm. Now, a question that I had about the time loop, I actually wrote this down.
Sure.
Not during the movie. I actually thought of this earlier today. It was... I know what it is. Oh, here it is. So is she the only one that notices the time loop?
That's what confused me, right?
Because that's what they said, like, we won't remember this. But then in my mind, I'm thinking, so this time loop explains the situation where she's waking up and the same things are happening no matter what.
And at first it was Ryan that was experiencing this in the very beginning.
Yes. The movie starts off with the blonde Ryan kid who's going through the things, but then he does... What did he do? Smash a chair off the machine?
I don't remember.
I think he smashed. That's how it started. He smashes the chair off the machine, and then it brings her back, and she was like, "Oh my god!"
That's what I don't. It's so weird. What is so special about her that she's the only one? That's one of the weird things.
That's my question. My thing was, is she the only one? See, it's confusing though because I'm thinking, is it just because? Oh, I know what it was. Is she the only one that goes back and realizes she's repeating the day because she's the only one dying in that day in the characters we know of?
That's what I'm wondering. Because in the beginning, Ryan dies twice.
And then he came back.
And then he comes back.
So I was thinking it's kind of like the dimensions that they were explaining. Mm-hmm. It's like the dimensions are whoever's dying in the universe we're looking at in the movie is coming back, and she's the one that's dying.
And there's no explanation as to why that is what causes the time loop, why that person is important. Like, there's no, like, you just roll with it. Like, that's...
Yeah, because she's the main character, so I'm just like, that's the reason why.
There's no explanation, and it doesn't need one. Because if we need a sequel to explain why she's the special one, another one, then...
Well, I think this movie was showing that she's not the special one.
True.
She's just a person.
That was actually a point she made in the very beginning. She said, "Oh, I thought it was like my mother, like protecting me, putting me in this time loop so that I don't die."
And it really was just, it just happens to whoever, like whoever's dying.
Just another day at college where students invent this time loop thing.
The time loop, what really like brought me, because I'll be honest, I liked the movie, like I liked it, and I think it's because, well, there was a couple of things. First of all, I thought it was a lot better than the first one. Way better.
I thought it was better.
I thought it was better than the first. The first one I liked, but it was kind of just like, like it was.
I hated the first one.
I thought it was like I didn't like it. I thought it was like an interesting watch. I was like, oh, that's a cool concept that they had. Like, I won't even lie, that's an interesting concept. The second one, though, I think there was a bunch of things, but to start, the dimensions thing, how they mentioned the dimensions and the different dimensions.
Yeah.
I watched The Flash, and you know that.
Yeah.
On CW. And The Flash, one of the main things that they always bring up is dimensions, because after the second season, I believe, they discovered that there's different dimensions and something about
multiverses and stuff like
multiverses and all that thing. So there's like different Flashes and different Earths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're all existing at the same time but vibrate. It's a whole complicated thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, when they were explaining it and I saw Ryan's other person, or Ryan 2.0, whatever you want to call him, I related to that because I was like, oh, that's a doppelganger. That's what they call him in the show. I was like, oh my God, that's a doppelganger.
A doppelganger in real life is like someone that like looks like you. Like, exactly. But a like, I know exactly what you're saying there. It's like you're saying like the Flash, like it's like Barry 1.0, Barry 2.0, and like the 1.0 is usually your version, and then like, they that say, you watch.
There's a main character, Harry Wells, in the show, and he's a genius, and basically one of the things that he did is he found a way to communicate with other Harry Wells from other universes. Yeah. And it's actually funny because when he'll like video call them, they're all like, one's French, one's like Canadian, one's like a jock.
It's like Rick and Morty.
It's like Rick and Morty.
Like Rick and Morty.
And I was like, like that's sick. It's a bunch of dimensions. And that's kind of what I thought anyways when we were talking about it the other day about the first one. Yeah. We were talking about it and I was like, I think it's a time loop and it's just different things happening. I didn't think it actually did get answered for me. I don't know about you. The things are happening no matter what. Yeah. She can change certain things, but the things are happening no matter what because the kid Ryan, who starts out as being the main character, but then it switches, he gets that phone call from that kid, remember, in the hallway? Yeah. And he's like, I don't understand what you're saying. Well, he gets that phone call. He changes something he does. He's in the room with her because he walks in and he starts explaining to them what's going on. She realizes, oh my God, like he's telling the truth. Yeah. And his phone rings and he gets that same phone call. Yeah. So it's not that those events happen no matter, there's certain events that are happening no matter what.
Yeah. I was a little confused at the end when the teacher decides to barge in on that one day. Was that just like, because she was like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen till tomorrow. Does that mean like events can change just depending on like what happens? Like, it kind of felt like when that happened, I thought like it was like the universe was kind of like fighting her not to get back to her old one. Because I was like, why is he walking in? Is it just because the power was surging or whatever? Like that I didn't really understand. Like,
well, yeah, that's I think that's something, an Easter egg that they put in the movie. Did you realize how many times they made a comment about, oh, there's our tuition money at work? When they were in the dorm room, Danielle says it in the first movie. When the light blinks and she says, oh, there's our tuition money at work or whatever the hell. Yeah. They do it again. It happens when she's in the hospital, when what's her name, Tree, is in the hospital bed and the light flickers after her boyfriend leaves, and then the doctor's right there and she's like, oh my God. Yeah. I think the light flickering is like saying like, oh, no one knows it's the machine now, except for that teacher, because obviously he knew, because he was saying how many times there was power outages and stuff like that, and he was pissed off about the machine. So I think that was like an Easter egg that the director or whoever put in there. Yeah, the light flickering means they're using it.
Yeah, that could be it.
But we wouldn't know that from the first one. But that was a big thing about the first one, the light flickering.
Something the sequel did was it doubled down on the comedy aspect. The first one felt like there were some jokes in it, but this one definitely felt like it was wouldn't even call this a horror movie. This wasn't a horror movie.
No.
At all.
It was just an interesting
idea. There was a jump scare or two, which, like, one of the jump scares made no sense. Like,
in the beginning?
In the beginning. Like, that they look in the closet, it's completely empty, turns around, starts talking to his friend.
To be fair, when he looked in the closet, the light wasn't on, and he didn't look to the right.
It was very weird.
He opens the door, and he just goes, and just looks. He just looks in the closet, and then he doesn't look to the right, look to the left. Well, the left we could see, but he didn't look to the right. And then he just turns around, and his friend has the baby mask. I was like, oh! Yeah. Because the whole time, I was like, oh, he's going to be in the closet. And then when he was behind him, I was like, oh. And then when he was behind him again, I was like, Jesus Christ.
So did the comedy work for you? That was going to be my question.
I'm not really. I wasn't.
More misses like it was or more hits?
I'm not sure, but there was one.
I laughed like 2 times.
There was a scene that I really like, genuinely. I mean, my body. You know how sometimes you laugh because you think it's funny, but you're not really laughing. Like, yeah, it didn't just come out. There was a scene that my body just like laughed, if that makes sense.
Okay.
When Danielle pretends to be blind and goes
I could
into
tell
the thing.
You were dying laughing,
and she hits him in the face with the cane.
Yeah,
and he's like gushing
That was
blood.
some slapstick right there.
So funny,
that was just
dude.
They were just so beating the They take this character that you already don't like, and they make him into even more of like, oh, he's such a loser, because you walk in on him and he's watching that show where they like train cats to be like better. Oh, the Cat Whisperer, or whatever the dude's name is.
Oh, the teacher?
Yeah, they take this teacher that like you already don't like, and they like make him like a loser. Like he's sitting there watching this TV show, eating popcorn, and it's about cats and like training these cats, and he's like, "See, that's what you get." Like, so they're just making him out to be a loser. Then this girl comes in pretending to be blind for a setup, and they just beat the out of him mercilessly. Like he's bleeding everywhere.
So they're trying to like explain a little bit. They're trying to steal the machine back, and so they need her to go in this other dimension, or Earth dimension, whatever. She's dating Tree's boyfriend in the original movie.
Yeah.
So then they have to try to basically steal it back. They have a whole plan, but they need his keys because he stole the machine, whatever that machine is called.
The time loop machine.
I actually wrote the name down in the movie. It doesn't matter, but I wrote it down. So when they're trying to steal it, she goes in there, and she needs to buy time, so she just like does some mad funny stuff. So at one point she takes the cane, because first she just grabs the keys and then she runs, gives it to them, and then she takes the cane and she's like moving around everywhere, and he's like, "Oh Jesus, you got to be careful." And then she goes and grabs the, what is that called? Like a drape?
Sure.
It's like a school banner
thing.
And pulls it on herself, and I just thought that was so funny because he was just like, it seemed so genuine. I love social awkwardness, like his comments were just he was like,
not to me, it didn't seem genuine.
Come into the light. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, that was insensitive." I loved that.
See, like comments like that, like there was a lot of comedy in here that like had me rolling my eyes. Like when she jumps out of the plane, she starts killing herself. She starts killing herself in multiple ways because it's easier than getting chased every night by this killer, which you would have to actively like, oh, let me go to this hospital. And
to explain a little more on that, what basically it is she realizes there's a formula for the machine to work because it didn't work. So she says, okay, so I'm going to basically have to memorize this, and until I memorize and we get the right one, which is a bunch of calculations, I have to just keep getting killed.
Yeah.
So someone says, well, why don't you just beat them to it? Why don't you just kill yourself before they whatever? So she just basically goes through this like a bunch of scenes where she's just doing creative ways of killing herself.
By the way, don't these characters seem way too comfortable with spitting out that idea? Like, just kill yourself. Like, we don't know if it's real or not.
They did, but I kind of was just like, that makes sense.
I in all honesty, like, I didn't really care, but I just thought about that later. Like, dude, imagine like oh, you should just like you should hang it up, like you should just die because whatever, you'll be back tomorrow. Turns out, what if you're just wrong? Like the next day,
well, she takes damage from killing herself.
See, that seemed really out of left field, but we'll talk about that in a second. Back to the part with the plane, right, when she just jumps out of it.
That.
I was already like, okay, I understand you're looking for creative ways to kill yourself, but then she lands right in front of
she skydives.
Oh God, I was like,
no
that's
parachute
not
in
even
a
funny.
bikini because she sees her boyfriend from the other dimension kissing Danielle, who's this evil girl in the first one, but is nice in the second one, and she lands perfectly with the middle fingers going at the camera.
It's so over the top. There's no subtlety to the humor, which if you like, it. You know what it felt like? Felt like, do you ever seen Scary Movie, like those movies?
No.
It felt like Scary Movies.
No.
A ton of it was slapstick. It was over the top as hell. It was like, it was all the characters were just like crazy over the top. And that's honestly how I saw it.
Well, I didn't like all of it, but I definitely for sure liked some of the things. I loved when, like I said, when he was like coming into the light and he thought she was blind. I don't know why. I just think those kind of things are funny. Or when after she needs to get more time, she takes the thing, hits him in the knee, and then swings it up and hits him in the nose. And he's like, oh, God. He's like, you really need to be careful.
I started laughing because you were laughing so hard.
It was so funny.
It was just so quiet in the theater. All of a sudden, I just hear like snickering, and I
just thought it was
looked
hilarious.
to my left.
And then what else did I think was funny? Oh, how after his nose is bleeding and he put like something in his nose. Mm-hmm. Was it like tissues or something? Mm-hmm. He put like tissues in his nose and he like tries to get up with the table and he just looked awful. And I just thought that was so funny. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But one thing that I definitely wanted to ask you about, did you think it was weird that he was getting pictures of himself, but the guy was nowhere to be found? You wouldn't even see a foot like going around the corner.
The killer?
No, Ryan.
Yeah, like someone was taking pictures of Ryan
him in the same like 10 feet away.
Who was taking the pictures?
It was Ryan or Ryan 2.0.
Why was he taking pictures though to like warn him that I'm gonna kill you?
I don't know, dude. That
makes no sense.
Was it Ryan?
That's what I'm saying. It couldn't have been Ryan. It could have been his lab partner.
Or maybe Ryan. Maybe Ryan knew. I'm so confused. Because it's confusing because at the end, it's the doctor.
That made the double twist made
so maybe
no
Ryan,
sense.
Maybe Ryan, the 2.0, is trying to kill Ryan to take Ryan's life because he's somehow by accident in this other dimension.
There's a lot that you just had to like think about on your own.
You really did.
I'm not gonna lie, this is not a movie to think a lot about. Just when something like that happens, just go, okay, there's two Ryans. He wants to kill the other one. I don't even know if they ever do establish why he wanted. It was because he said, "Oh,
the doctor."
No, Ryan.
Ryan wants to kill himself because if he doesn't kill the other Ryan, everything's gonna get messed up. That makes sense. Well, it only makes sense to me because, like I said, the Flash. They went through a seat. They still go through that.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff. Like I've had so much of that in shows that I watched that I was like, oh, it makes sense because if you stay here, things are gonna start changing. Yeah. Memories are gonna disappear. And they did play into the memories with Tree because one thing that I felt pushed her to decide in the end was
how she had none of the memories of the first one.
She had none of the memories.
She was like, "Oh yeah, remember last year we ate those Cinnabon things or whatever."
And she was like,
"She's
no.
like, yeah, this isn't my life."
Yeah. And I don't know why it was honestly just a quick little comment, but I was like, oh, like that sucks. Like,
I honestly saw that. I was like, oh, that's so true.
That sucks.
It is a hard decision.
That would
be definitely a hard decision to make.
Which one would you make? Would you go back and stay with this dude that you just started dating or girl, whatever? Or
yeah, I gotta say I'm staying in the universe with the mom from being.
You wouldn't think it's weird though? You don't have any memories.
Yeah, it would be weird. Actually, yeah, there's so much different.
So many things that they would be like, why are you acting
I don't know.
weird?
I guess I don't know what I would do.
And is she nice or is she mean in this other? That's a question I had because she was really mean in the first one.
Yeah, everyone seemed pretty accepting of her. Like her and the character that nobody likes, what's her name, that was cheating
Danielle?
Yeah. Apparently someone said, aren't you best friends with her? So it looks like she's getting along with like a bunch of people. So maybe in this universe she's like not that bad, but that was something I was wondering about too.
One thing that I saw was killing the girl, but what she says, killing her friend, passed it on to Ryan.
Yeah, did it? Like, I don't know.
That's what they said. Killing the girl, passed it on. She was like, oh, when I killed her, I must have passed it on to you. And so I was like, wait. So is it really what I thought with the dying thing? Is it just whoever dies?
And how convenient is that if that is the case, right? How convenient is that the day before someone was trying to kill her and stab her with a baby mask on, and the very next day, same thing with Ryan. But like,
well,
why?
It's the convenience is their school has masks.
Why is the other Ryan there? I don't understand.
The other Ryan got there from the machine.
But when?
When he apparently the machine went off at night, at midnight or whatever time it was, because they said the time that it went off, and that's how the other Ryan got there.
I thought the machine going off at midnight is what caused her to be in the loop on like March 18th or whatever it was.
I think what it is it brings you back. It just so you activate the thing and it just restarts. She died because she dies at midnight at her birthday on the first one. So I think when she died, the machine caused her to come back and relive the day. Sure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't about like, so you hit the machine, now it goes on. You see what I mean? But I had a bunch of I was writing things during the movie, and I was just like, where is it? I just felt like the mask thing, the mascot. I was like, why is the mascot a baby?
They even say that in the movie. They address it.
I didn't understand why the mascot was a baby. I was like, why is it like whose school has a baby as a mascot?
I don't know.
I've only seen animals or guys.
That's literally a quote like in the movie.
It made no. I think that was one of those movie things, and I told you I don't notice things like that. That was one of those movie things where they were like,
they're self-aware.
We need a reason for like there to be a baby mask, and so they were like, oh yeah, let's just point out that everyone in this school thinks it's weird too.
I feel like there could have been a different mask that like was creepier too. That was kind of a weird.
I agree too. I think the Patriots mascot's kind of creepy.
That's true.
I don't know why. I think he's creepy.
Honestly, this movie, I guess, it doesn't matter if the mask is creepy or not because it doesn't even feel like they were going for a horror movie.
No, it's just really an interesting like new world type of movie.
Can we talk about the end?
The ending?
The ending with like like the twist, like who it is, and then the double twist.
Yes.
And the dude coming out doing the slow clap, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like please just kill me.
So in the end,
that was so bad.
What happens is
that was so bad.
She decides as they're fixing the machine for her. She made her decision. She was like, I'm going back, and after, I definitely want to go back to the conversation she had with her mom because that brought some tears in that theater.
That was that was funny.
So what happens is she decides I'm going to go back. This isn't my life, and I think the memories, like we talked about, is something that pushed her to just have a character development. And she was like, I want my mom, but this isn't my life. Like this is someone else's life from another dimension, which felt like she was realizing someone else is stuck in my other. Like realizing like why is my mom not here? You know what I mean? And so
I didn't even consider that.
That's what I was thinking instantly. I was like, that means someone else is stuck like with no mom, and they've
just never getting the bad news. Your mom's dead,
and they've never dead. And they probably went to that dinner with their dad, and they're like, "Where's mom?" Like, and then he's like, "That's not funny." They always do that in movies. The dad's like, "That's not funny." Like, but anyways, she decides to go back to her original life. She does go back to her original life, and before she does, she says, I'll be right back. I need to go do something. So she goes back to the hospital because she feels bad for her. What is her name? Catherine? Katie? Who cares? Her friend that's a nurse that before was trying to kill her in the first movie. In the second movie, she's wicked nice. They're like best friends. But in this movie, that girl is the one that's getting with the teacher. Yeah. With the doctor guy or professor or whatever. And so then it gets there. She takes a gun from the officer while he's taking a piss.
That was another part that I laughed at.
I love
it. Was so awkward. She points a gun at the back of the officer's head while he's
taking up in the middle of a piss. In the middle,
and then he's sitting there, and she's just like, she says something. She's like, turn around slowly, and then like there's just piss funneling out of him for the next like 30 seconds, and it goes.
I thought that was hilarious.
It goes on for so long to the point of absurd. It's so awkward. She's like, you're just sitting there.
She's like, all right, put it away.
All right.
I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny.
I thought that was hilarious because he stopped. If you notice, he stops the stream, and then when he like felt the thing, he like felt the barrel of the gun. He just starts pissing.
That was funny. That was funny.
He just starts pissing.
That made me laugh.
I was like, oh my! Could you imagine just like in the middle of a stream and someone just puts a barrel like to your head? You just like, all right, well I didn't have to piss anymore, but I'm gonna keep it going. So then there was that huge plot. Like this guy.
This plot twist makes no sense. His motives. So the guy that her roommate is getting with is deciding to kill her because he doesn't want his wife to find out, he says. And then
wait for this.
The double twist is
the wife knows. And not only does she know, she seemed to be okay with it. So okay with it that she was like, "Oh, let's just kill them because then no one will know."
She says, "I'm not going to let some whore ruin my life." So then you don't understand the motive of the actual guy because he's not doing it because the wife doesn't know, because the wife knows, and she wants to kill the girl so that it doesn't ruin her publicly. But then get this, maybe you're thinking, oh, well then he's just doing it for the wife. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't want this to ruin our name. But then he turns to the wife, shoots the wife, and goes, oh yeah, and I want a divorce. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, all of this could have been resolved if you just got a fucking divorce. And it was so baffling how bad it was. But yeah, it was really awkward how bad it was. And that was when my jaw was just dropped with like, how was this?
I'll be honest with you, that was the only part of the movie that I was like, what?
I mean, it was like,
because I was like,
if
your wife knows, the whole time, she knew the whole time, why was she yelling at you? And if she was yelling at you, that means she was mad. If she's mad, then why is she trying to kill this lady?
It made no sense.
Kill this girl.
It made no sense. I was like,
so then you're helping him get rid of the girl, so that means you... I don't know.
This twist is as bad as The Happening twist.
Never seen it.
At the end of The Happening, everyone's killing themselves. Spoiler alert, because of the plants. The plants are causing people to kill themselves. That sounds like a joke. It's not.
That's why you said it sounded like Bird Box.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But Bird Box, we don't find out really what it is. It's just, oh, you just
That's
see
the way
a
I
shadow.
prefer it. Bird Box, with all the problems it has, it's like, we're not even going to explain. I'm fine with that. Don't be plants like M. Night Shyamalan.
One thing I noticed about this movie, I liked the main character, Tree, a lot more than the first one.
I hated her in the first one throughout.
I even thought she was prettier in this one.
Yeah.
Surprising. I was like, she looks like Blake Lively. Yeah. I told you that in the car, but I was like, she's prettier.
And she has to wake up every day looking all like
disheveled,
and like her makeup is like up, and she still looks
good. I liked that she asked him, what the hell are you looking for under that thing?
I think what I liked more about her in the second one is like her arc in the first movie of her like, I'm a bitch, I'm a nice person. You can like see that coming, like, oh, that's predictable. Because I know you haven't seen Groundhog's Day, but that's literally like Bill Murray's this big asshole. By the end, he's like the greatest person of all time because he just knows like beat for beat how to make his day perfect and like how to like make everyone happy. But in this, her arc is like less predictable because it's like a struggle, like an internal struggle of like, oh, like I don't want to be stuck in this loop. Oh, but I'm in this universe now where like everything is better and it can be a better place for me, but it's not really my memories that I've created. I thought her arc here was more interesting all around.
I definitely thought making her a character that the audience would like worked out in their favor because when she had that scene with her mom at the table,
it was a good scene.
I felt that. I definitely didn't feel it like somebody who was crying next to me.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt it a lot more. It wasn't him. But I definitely felt it a lot more because I was just like, it's just so sad. Like she did a really good job in that scene. She was like crying. And it
felt real.
It was like a happy but a sad, and the mom was sad too.
It literally, like, it's so weird. And like this movie, I said that I think it has a lot of like really corny acting. That felt genuine. Like it felt really good. Like it didn't feel like over the top. Like it didn't feel like it was like Marley and Me, where it's trying so hard to
make
like
you cry.
to like just cry, or like it felt really genuine. Like I thought that was like really well done. She did a good job.
I love that scene got me. I was like, geez.
It was like a one-way goodbye. Like,
yeah, I was like, she's really leaving her mom. What if the relationship doesn't even work out?
I'm
really
hip, right? Like 2 weeks
you
later.
guys break up like a month later. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it'd be for nothing.
I left my mom. But I still would have left because of the memories. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the memories, then it's just going to get weird. And you're just going to be like, I don't remember that. And then your parents are going to think you're weird. Oh, that means you won't have memories with anyone.
Yeah, no one.
Because no one had the same.
You won't even know your own universe's history. Like you won't know anything.
That's true. You'll go to the wrong classes.
Obviously, it has to be a little similar since all these people are here now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it didn't seem like anyone from the first one like just didn't exist. But
everyone existed.
Yeah, it was just like there's so many like little differences that you would need to like.
So what did you think with the time loop though? Did you think?
I didn't think like a lot of it still.
But did the second one?
It helped the first one.
But did it answer our conversation the other day when you were like, I don't understand how the things are happening? I thought they explained that pretty well when he had the phone call in the room. I was like, oh, that explains Becor's question. Obviously, I couldn't say it to you.
See, that's what I meant in the beginning when I said it feels like they just made this movie
for sure.
Oh. Wait a minute, like that doesn't make any sense.
For sure.
Let's create this thing in a lab where like, oh, it's a different universe now. But yeah, if there's any problem I had with the first one, as cheap as this seems to just add multiple universes, fine. I'm like, okay, well that helps the first one a little bit, even though I have like way more problems with the first one than this one. I think the first one I gave like a 3 out of 10. I think so. Something like that.
No, I don't remember even talking to you about the first one.
Yeah.
Because yesterday we talked about Bird Box, but I don't remember us even talking about Happy Death Day before we went to.
Not like us. Like I think like on my own like personal scale.
Oh,
like
okay.
Yeah, like when I walked out.
I thought you were trying to get me to remember. I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
The first one, I would give like a 5.
Yeah.
Like 5.
You like this one more?
Yes, I'd give this one. Probably a 7.5. 7.5. I think it really helped. They had no idea that I was into things like this. It really helped that I've watched things that have done this. And I'm into the whole superhero world and universes and stuff like that. So when they started talking about like dimensions, I see another Ryan. I was like, oh, you got me in the bag right now. You say anything like double.
It definitely came. That was probably one of the. It was like I think I legit just wrote like interesting twist because. There's no way I was going into this thinking, oh, it's going to be a sci-fi thing. I thought it was literally going to be like, oh, she's just in a different time loop on a different day for some reason because someone else wants to kill her. So that came out of nowhere. So, I think that twist was what helped it. And taking itself less seriously. But at the same time, that's why I struggle to, like, rate this movie because, like, a lot of it is like, don't take it seriously. But a lot of it is just like, but...
I think with movies like this, it depends on movies. I think... It's for me, I know you're more into the whole thing, but for me, if I go into a movie, I don't really know. It's different. Like The Revenant, when I went to The Revenant, I was like, serious. They're being serious. You know what I mean? Like, that's a serious movie. But for movies like these, even when I see the trailer, I'm like, oh, this isn't really
this
like.
This has a lot of schlock in it.
They're not trying to be serious. Yeah. They're just kind of like, come check out our fun little creation. Like, if you like it, you like it. Cool, whatever. But with this one, like I was saying, just the things that related to other things that I watch helped me so much more.
I think I'd give this a 4.5.
That's a good.
Slightly below average.
What did I say?
You gave it a 7.5.
Yeah, I give it a 7. 7. Not a 7.5. Because I'm trying to think of other movies that I'd give like a 7.5.
Yeah.
I'd give this a 7.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I like go back and I'm like, wait, I gave this movie this.
Well, I'm thinking 7.5 is really close to 8. So
seven's good. Like that means that's a good movie.
But like rewatchability, probably 2 years later, 3 years later, like I'll forget about like enough where I forgot about it.
I would argue against that, considering there's so much shit that I still don't understand. Like if I ever was tempted to go back, I feel like maybe there's some stuff in there that I missed that would explain like things that I didn't understand pertaining to the multiverse and like why Ryan was there and like things he said, because I clearly didn't pick up on everything.
Just watch The Flash.
I'm not gonna watch The Flash.
You could.
Because
great show.
My sister watches The Flash.
I love it.
And it looks terrible.
Oh my god.
She was watching season 4.
It just got renewed for another season.
She was watching season 4 and there was this gorilla like a giant.
That's well. You gotta keep in mind they are taking things from the comics.
I know, but what if I'm just not interested in that? I'll try.
I'd rather you not.
Okay.
Tear me down. But I actually had something to say to you about I was gonna write it in my notes, but I don't know why. I think I was like sitting on my thing. Have you seen True Detective?
I don't know why. I saw all of season 2, which everyone says is way worse than season 1. And I only watched half of season 1. I was really enjoying season 1, but I think like a week went by. I think I went on vacation and I just forgot about it and I just didn't return to it. Season 2 was like, all right.
I love that about movies. That's a weird thing. I have a weird thing with movies or even TV shows where I watch it, and if I decide, I liked that movie, like I really liked it or whatever, it made me feel something, like I always explain to you, like if I like feel adrenaline or something, I'm all amped. Mm-hmm. If I really like a movie, I just don't watch it for a long time. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I just leave it, and then I come back like 2 years later after I forgot most of the things. I know.
Yeah, I like doing that with shows.
It's so fun, and then I watch it over, and I'm like, oh, like let's go. That's why I loved it.
Yeah.
I did that with Winter Soldier, last year.
Yeah.
It might have been last year or the year. It was whenever Infinity War came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was April last year.
Because you remember I laid down for like a month and I just watched all the movies over again.
Yeah.
And I just felt all that excitement again. I was like, oh my God, let's go. Mm-hmm. But I'd give it like a C+ though, grade.
Grade-wise?
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick with the 4.5 out of 10.
All right, that's a very solid thing. I think it's harder to do a number, in my opinion, than in a letter. Just because
kind of is.
Just because I'm just like 7, 8. I said 6, but I'd rather watch this than Bird Box.
One thing I'll never do is like 0.2 or 3. Like I don't get people that do that. Mine.
Oh yeah, that's a little
like right 7.
Well,
I came to the final verdict of a 7.8.
I've definitely seen movies.
It's
where,
like, what, are you deducting like every 0.1 like in your head? Like that's minus a point.
It needs to be the whole number 0.5 or
that's
or
it.
You're just weird.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Whole number 0.5 or I don't like IGN. They do like for video games. They do like 0.9.
I don't ever believe anything those people.
Oh
say.
yeah, they're hacks.
They don't.
Frauds.
They literally say every game's amazing. They're literally like, it's amazing. It's another experience. And then you play the game like 2 weeks later. You're like, this game sucks. Like, who played this game? What did you play for like 5 minutes? Yeah. And you were like, it's so fresh and refreshing.
Sorry to get off topic.
Totally off topic. Mm-hmm. But I think that pretty much covers.
Yeah, I think there's literally nothing left for this movie for us to talk about. Anything that we could contribute.
Pretty much.
I feel like we'll just be going in circles at this point.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's entertaining. I would honestly
that's what I thought. It was
go into it.
Yes.
Go into it. Literally, just watch it. Turn your brain off. Like
I got a better one. I enjoyed The View. I enjoyed it. Like it was a cool watch.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Captain Marvel. That's our next movie.
I'm
super excited. Next movie we're gonna watch and talk about is Captain Marvel. That comes out in 2 weeks. I
hope I like it, so I don't sound like I'm just the cynical asshole.
Well, it's gonna be a lot easier for Captain Marvel or any Marvel movies with us, especially Endgame, because Endgame is gonna be like all of us, like we're gonna be trying to piece all these movies together, and we're gonna be talking about like, did you notice this? Did you notice that?
Yeah,
I might watch Endgame 2 times.
That's probably the good thing about like reviewing and talking about like a universe, because there's so many other movies you have to tie in, and we can go off topic with another movie, but it still kind of pertains to like the whole picture,
the whole thing. Yeah. Especially because this one, there was a movie before it, but it's not the same. It wasn't even a movie. Like we were like, oh, it's all right. Mm-hmm. But the second one, it was like better, but it still wasn't enough. Like the Marvel movies were going to be like, oh my God. Yeah. And you loved Infinity War.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be
I loved Infinity War.